Today we're making a super cute, fast and easy heart-shaped sugar cookie with pink stripes. Did I mention that there's lots of sparkly sanding sugar on the pink so it comes off extra cute? All right, let's get started. So when you make these cookies, you have two options. Option number one, make one batch. Divide the wet mixture in half, divide the dry mixture in half, and then you'll be coloring that one half of the wet mixture with the soft pink. That'll give you a beautiful contrast for those stripes. But if you don't have a scale, here's option two. Just make two batches because you can freeze the rest for later and have on-demand cookies. So we're gonna start off with 4 cups of all-purpose flour, that's 480 grams, into a large bowl, and we'll be sifting it together. That's it. Now, 3/4 of a cup of cornstarch. This is our secret ingredient to prevent the cookies from spreading so much. Also, there's no leavening agent in here, so they're not gonna puff up. It makes it so much easier to do a laminated stripe. Ooh, gosh, cornstarch in a bag, it's like nails on a chalkboard, oh my gosh. Set that aside, sift this together along with 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. You can even use a full teaspoon if you want. I really like the contrast of that salt and the sugar. Helps bring the cookie alive. Okay, now sift. We'll whisk this all together so everything's distributed nicely. All right, set it aside, and now it's time for that butter and sugar. Into the bowl of my standing mixer fitted with a scraping paddle attachment. You could use a regular paddle attachment if you want. You'll just be scraping the bowl down a little bit more. I'm adding in 1 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature without the paper. Mix it up. Once it's nice and creamy, add in 1 cup or about 200 grams of regular white sugar. Mix it up until it's nice and light and fluffy. Okay. This mixer was running for like 2 minutes on high, and I just want to show you what nice, light, fluffy butter looks like. Beautiful parchment white clouds. You can see the consistency is like fluffy and the color is noticeably lighter. So that is ready for our eggs now. We're adding in 2 room temperature eggs, 1 at a time. Room temperature eggs just mix up and incorporate more easily. They don't harden the butter when you plop them in there. 1. And 2. I'm gonna add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract right now. Mix it up. Okay, so now I'm gonna divide this batter into 2 equal batches. I'll just be using my scale for that, but if you don't wanna do that, remember, it's actually easier to make 2 batches and just color 1 pink. Double the cookies, double the fun. So if you're doing this the smart way, which I did not do, you would weigh your bowl out ahead of time and then just weigh it again. But I forgot to do that, so let's transfer and find out how much butter this is. All right, so I have 540 grams of this wet mixture. I need 270 grams back into the bowl. So close. Okay, there we go. So this will be our plain white mixture. Let's weigh out that dry mixture as well. The dry mixture is 566 grams. I need 283 in here. Like I said, it's easier to make a double batch. No math, says the former math teacher. 283, exactly. I'm so proud of this situation here. Paddle attachment back on. Mix it on low, and you're gonna see it come together really nicely. On my sugar cookie recipes, I occasionally get comments saying they're really dry and crumbly. That is definitely from mismeasuring the flour. And I'll tell you, once I was like, end of the day, really tired, making my own recipe, and what happened was, instead of putting in 4 cups of flour, I put in 4 pounds of flour. Very dry and crumbly, and I kind of suspect that's what's happening to a couple of you out there. It's like the end of the day, trying to make some cookies, and you mismeasure. But you will see, this comes together in a beautiful, silky, like very handleable batter. Okay, take a look. Here's our cookie dough, and you can see, very nice. Not crumbly, and it's going to shape up beautifully. This could go right into the oven. The only reason we chill it is so we can handle it, cut it, and have nice sharp edges. This can go into a plastic bag or roll it up in some plastic. All right, so just push it together into a nice mound, cover it with the plastic, and give it a preliminary roll. You can see it rolls really nicely too. This can go into the fridge now to chill, and then once it's nice and hard, in maybe half an hour or so, we can cut it into strips. Now it's time for our pink batch, and I have to show you one of my New Year's presents. Look at that. It's basically like the deluxe crayon set, but with food coloring. Now, I don't use food coloring very often, so this will last me a long time, but I'm so excited for all the colors. Today, I'm using my favorite, which is soft pink. Let's take the remainder of our delicious, fluffy butter sugar mixture. Ooh, I would eat this. I would do it. And we're gonna color this with some soft pink food coloring. Can you use something else? I don't really think so, because if you heat organic dyes, like if I put raspberry puree in here, it actually turns purple. So you could have a purple stripe, which is beautiful, but it wouldn't be the same as a pink stripe. So you're gonna mix this up and make it a little bit darker than you want, because it'll lighten up once you add in the flour mixture. So maybe like 2 drops, 1 drop. Let's see what 1 drop looks like. Pretty pink. Just gonna add in like 1/10 of a drop more. Mix that up. And now we can add in the dry mixture. Mix on low. Okay. And that's it. So take a look. This is a beautiful soft pink color. I feel like it's, clearly artificial, but, it could be convincing. I love the consistency. Also gonna wrap it up, chill it up, come back in half an hour, and get back to work. Now that my 2 doughs are chilled, it's time to roll them out to maybe about 1/4 of an inch thick, and then we're gonna laminate them together, chill again, and there'll be a sparkly surprise. Let's get started. Once your doughs are chilled, it's time to start rolling it out. Let's do the uncolored one first. Roll it out to about 1/4 of an inch thickness and make sure it is not too cold. If it's too cold, it'll begin cracking and you'll have some problems. But if they do happen, just pinch it together, let it warm up a tiny bit, and then keep rolling it out. It should be totally fine. Flour the top and the bottom, move it around. I think you probably know the drill for this. Once that's done, pop it back into the fridge just to chill out, and it's time to do the pink dough. Exactly the same steps, except that when you're done and it's rolled out to about 1/4 of an inch, you're gonna add your optional pink sanding sugar. You can get this at the supermarket or order it online. It's not that hard to find. You could even use regular white granulated sugar for a bit of sparkle. Cover in that sugar and then roll. Hopefully your dough is a little bit warmer at this point, because you really want that sugar to stick to the dough. Once that step is finished, pop that back into the fridge and let's cut strips. I want to have about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit more for each strip. Doesn't have to be perfect, but keep it consistent if possible. Use a ruler and a sharp knife and get your beautiful little strips. Repeat that same process for those pink stripes, and let's get assembling. Just alternate the pink and the white, pink, white, pink, white, pink, white, pink, white. Press it together a little bit so they're really touching. And once you're done, pop a little plastic wrap on top, roll it out again, be gentle. You just want to kind of press them together a bit more and even everything out, because the doughs are probably not exactly the same thickness. You're gonna have a bunch of dough left over between those hearts, so I used a bunch of different size, smallish circle cutters just to get all of that dough out. You can totally re-roll it together. It's still look a little bit crazy and marbled. Still delicious though, excellent for snacking. Pop those cookies carefully onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. You could also use a Silpat if you wanted to, and bake at 375 for about 12 minutes or until The centers are just setting. You know the drill for sugar cookies. You can bake them a little bit longer and they'll be nice and golden on the outside, or you can bake them just the right amount and they are perfectly the same color through and through. It's up to you. I love making those striped sugar cookies. They are so much easier than they look because it looks like, oh my gosh, it's striped, what the heck? But all you have to do is just cut the strips, roll it together, and you're basically done. What about all of that extra dough, you're wondering? Well, here, I made a lot of little cute striped buttons, which are, you know, nice. I love that sparkle from the sanding sugar. Gives a nice crunch, a really good note of vanilla, and that cornstarch kind of like makes them melt in your mouth. I really hope you get to make this recipe. Happy Valentine's Day in advance, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you like my videos, hit that like button and subscribe.